eat it.
There's no all other people, $50 and up. So y'all don't just try to be funny, okay? Let's go ahead. 10 minutes for every challenge. Let's open the panel.
The panel is now open.
The wait is over. The gates are open. All who seek the panel, enter now.
Let's get this party started.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat.
And thank you very much, Mr. Brian Ross. It was the sponsor of yesterday's show. So thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate you. He sent some moolah. So we have $10 on a Cash App. Friends, we need 8 members and $140. Make me proud. I'll read the super chat in a few. So welcome to the show, Miss SH. Okay. Miss SH, who do you want to challenge?
First, hello everybody. How you doing, Melanin? I got a challenge for you.
So we are going to have SH versus Melanin. RougeC comes down here with me.
Okay.
It's time to do.
So SH, tell me what is our disagreement. We have 10 minutes, but it's conditional, okay, friends? If you are a big content creator, if the back and forth is still fruitful after 10 minutes, and if there's nobody in the back, we are going to keep going with the back and forth. RougeC can join here and there. Don't get cold, RougeC. We're going to go from there. Go ahead, SH.
Do I look cold to you, Patty?
Absolutely not. SH, let's go. What is your disagreement with MelaninLegacy?
Okay, I have two. I'm gonna start with the one that was just recently said. So you guys were talking about that she said that it's a woman's job if she married a man.
Wow, that's crazy, Willie.
Fatty.
I should never open the bounties, friends. That's fucked up.
Yeah, you set her up.
Damn, that's crazy.
This is Sparta!
No, nigga, kick the fucking ass. No.
That's crazy.
No.
It's my fault. No. I was the one that was irresponsible. No, friends, and any
dog.
That's crazy.
That nigga Willie
any soul that wants to bring SH back, she says, I'm not about to listen to a SH question. Dodginess. Next. Ooh,
in all fairness, that's very respectable.
There's no next.
Thank you, brother Willie.
Damn.
Well,
real nigga shit.
I haven't done bounties in a while, friends. I forgot. That's crazy. Oh,
didn't think this through.
Hey, yo.
No, it's not that I didn't
about
think
a
this
sniper.
through.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's because usually people at least let people get their feet wet. I thought Willie was already inside of the arena. Mr. Crisco says Melvin was wearing the answer on her shirt. The equivalent to Chivalry is tiny. Thank you very much. Look at you all.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I talked to you last time.
ET, do you have smoke for any of the ladies?
Yes, I definitely had some questions for RougeC and everything she was saying, most definitely. Hi, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, ET.
Go ahead.
Nice to meet you too.
Do your thing. So what are the questions you have for her?
All right, so when you were saying...
Damn. Willie got him with $2, man. Hey, Willie, you need to stop working for the feds. What the hell is going on? See, these girl bosses ain't on a motherfucking...
You know, my Wi-Fi is trash right now, so
Totally fine.
Work with me. So what you were saying basically when you were talking about men's laws, when you were arguing with, you were having a conversation with Melanin, like why do you default to men's laws when women can vote too, and they're voting the men in that are making these laws? So if they don't even want women in, isn't that more of a reflection on women than men? Because you kind of,
and they're also voting at a higher rate than men. So it's not men's laws, it's the laws that women are voting in.
like default to just like, oh, well, it's men's laws, but it's like women can also vote women in if they wanted to, but they're not.
Not at all. It's more so because even what Mel was saying, and I do agree, if men are the actual leaders, well, I can keep going. Come back, ET, phone home. But if men are the natural leaders of things, it does make sense for why majority of these roles are still filled by them. If majority of these roles are also filled by them because of how society was set up from time ago, a lot of people are actually still more traditional than what we like to believe them to be. So even though women could vote these men in all these situations, Congress is still a majority of men who are writing down these laws, turning them into bills, turning them into laws, and they're still saying, you know what, let's go ahead and greenlight this. Majority of our government is still ran by men. So to kind of say that women are the beneficiaries or women are getting the most action from it, it is kind of false.
No, it's not,
it's kind of like
it's not false.
It's not working, ET.
You literally actually just defeated
by the way,
your own argument.
Next debate, Ali versus Fetty, and nothing else. I'll whoop Ali ass. Like, y'all don't want me to debate Ali. Ali is better than me on panels. I'll give him that. That man is the king. We don't need to debate. I'll whoop his motherfucking ass. Shout out to my boy Ilkan Ali with the cha-ching. Cha-ching.
Oh, can you hear me?
E.T., we're going to try one last time. I know it's
my bad, brother. Yeah.
It's totally fine.
My bad.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Now I understand. If it happens again, you can kick me. I understand. Sorry about the internet. But it's kind of like an apex fallacy, because just because majority of them are men doesn't reflect around majority of the population being men. That's just like saying just because the president's a man, then it's all men's fault just because he's a man. Like, precisely. Yes, it happens to be that men are in power because for biological differences, there's many different reasons why men are in power, but you can't really just cop out and just say, oh, well, it's men's laws, when majority of men have no power and majority of men don't have a say on what happens in the country. It's just like a top echelon of men that are basically making all the rules. And then you're just making a blanket statement saying, well, it's a men's this, it's men's that.
Sorry.
Brilliant response, brother. It's 100% a fucking apex fallacy. Like I've said previously, only about 385 men make up the government. You can't say that men are benefiting because 385 men just so happen to be lawmakers. You have millions and millions of more men that do not benefit off of the decisions of these 385 other men who are part of the legislation branch. Spot on. It was an apex fallacy.
Sorry, I'm trying to stop all these notifications.
That's no problem.
No, thank you. Thank you for your patience. So Fatty did also say that it is majority of men, especially in the United States. And again, with that being said, this is not to, say anything other than the actual fact is, yes, men are the ones who are putting these laws into place. So even the men who are agreeing and saying, yes, feminist rules should happen, they're the ones who said that it was okay. So instead of blaming women, I'm just saying it's not just women's blame to hold. If you do want somebody to ask, it would be the government. And if men also feel, because Fatty did also enlighten me, majority of men aren't the ones voting, but you guys are majority of the population. So there does seem to be some type of issue in that case, because if men wanted other outcomes, you guys could technically beat us. But it doesn't seem like you do. It doesn't seem like men want other outcomes, honestly.
No, that's not my argument. My argument was that you were saying...
1 second.
Oh, go ahead.
Because you are technically right and wrong at the same time. Okay, there's more men than women.
Yes.
In overall numbers, but because men are overly incarcerated, men lose their rights if they don't report for draft. There's a bunch of situations that make actually men the minority when it comes to overall voting. So even though there's more men, is very like the things, the age, because women live longer. There's more kids that are men than are women, because women usually live longer than all. There's more actually voting base that is female than male, even though there's overall more men than women.
Can I hit something you just said real quick, Fatty? And then ET,
Yes,
I'm gonna let you have it real quick.
Absolutely.
Because my only issue is who collectively, either A, whose laws are collectively incarcerating these men, and B, who is collectively incarcerating these men.
See, and then it's just back to the blanket statement.
That defeats your point again. That defeats your whole argument. Like literally, that means that men aren't benefiting. They're suffering. Like Melanin ain't really even had to do nothing this debate. RougeC kind of kicked her own ass. She literally done tripped herself over and over and over again and got back up like she ain't fall.
It's of his all men again, is what I'm saying, where it's just like most men don't have the power to change all of that. Like, you know, like you're talking about like the top 10% when the bottom 90% are the ones dying, ditch digging, just, you know, cannon fodder. And then you're lumping us all together with those top ones that are making all the laws and controlling everything.
Can I ask something real quick?
Go for it.
Is there anything that woman got on the last 50 years that is thanks to woman, or is all of this is thanks to men? Safe society thanks to men, growing grapes thanks to men, the childbirth thanks to men, like everything is thanks to men because men are the ones passing the rules and doing this.
Yes, and that I'm happy you said that, because that was going to be the next thing I said. When it comes down to leadership, unfortunately, I am seeing, and then I'm going to hit what you said, ET, as well. That's okay. But when it comes down to what you just said, Patty, when it comes down to leadership, a lot of times leaders want the praise, but they don't want the boos. And again, the beautiful thing about being a leader, and the beautiful thing of why, as a woman, I don't want to be a leader, I don't want the blame that comes with being a leader. When you are a leader, whether you're right, wrong, every good you're going to get comes with every bad that comes with it. And that is also something you have to bear on your shoulders. If you win a war, you still have to bear the...
So according to you, woman get no credit because...
So she admits that she doesn't want the burden of responsibility or accountability. She just admitted that.
Men are the leaders, right?
It's not about that.
If the kids are raised well, the dad is the credit because he's the leader. If the country is the safest, the men are the leaders. If the economy good, men are the leaders. If the like everything good in society goes to men because men are the leaders. So you take completely a woman out of the scope of merit and awards because the men are the leaders. So you put it on men.
So it's a matter of, when it comes down to the roles, the reason why you give mothers if the kids do turn out well, you give mothers that grace is because collectively it is the mothers that are in the household. So if we're talking about society, yes, majority of the good things that happen in society, you can still say, yes, men, thank you. You can say that. But again, it is
but what Fatty's saying, but what Fatty's asking is that since you're giving all the onus on men, that means anything that women accomplish, you would have to attribute that to men as well. That's what he's saying. So women basically get no credit even if they do something good because men are in charge. So then they don't get any downside and they don't get any upside. It's just all men. That's basically what he's asking.
I mean, for the most part, a lot of the complaints are coming for the fact that men will blame women. So I don't really hear men even saying any good things about it. So I would actually say, yeah, if we're looking at a collective.
What do you mean by men blaming women?
In most case scenarios, everything that we're hearing is complaints about women. Women spend frivolously, even though women are the reasons why the economy is flourishing to this capacity. Women want to be girl bosses, but when men went to war.
Cap, the economy was at its best time in the 60s. We are not flourishing right now. We have a lot of things because of progression, but we are not flourishing right now. We are actually falling behind.
Women were the ones that stood up and said, we got y'all. While y'all at war, we got y'all. And then we hate the trickle down of society.
Hold on. First off, there were still men here taking care of things when men went to war. Not all men went to war. Like,
I never said
there was a
that.
very, yeah, but you're saying when men went to war, women took care of things. There were still men taking care of things. There was just men that left and men that stayed. I think more men stayed than men that left. I mean, millions of men have died in war, but there was more men that stayed than men that left. You're making it sound like all men left and that women just had to take care of everything. There was still men there doing stuff, especially rich men. They weren't gonna get drafted at all. They would never see a draft letter if you were rich.
Right, but
So,
they
like I
weren't.
said,
The
that
rich
the
men
men
weren't
that
the
were
ones who did the grunt work.
the men that were in position of power still
yeah.
remain in position of power. None of them went to war, and it was a very small percentage of not small percentage. It was a 1/4 of men that went to the World War. 1/3 of the men stayed and doing their duties, and now women started to do the repetitive chores that those 25% of men that work in factories and on assembly lines couldn't do. So I have a quick question for you, and I'll let you have a last question, right? RougeC, do you think that you are going to get into massive trouble if you actually keep doing the men are the leaders thing, so they get the credit for the good and bad things, while women don't get credit or the blame for nothing because they are followers? Do you think, because you are a regular panelist, you are an up and coming content creator, do you think that you should stick into this position is going to bring you massive trouble in the future if you start debating from a point of view of blaming praising woman, and then all of a sudden somebody says, but you said on that debate that women don't have blame for nothing because they're not leaders? Do you think this is going to open a Pandora's box for it that you can defend in the future?
No, because I do believe in nuance, and I never said that women don't deserve blame. I never said women don't deserve accomplishments. I never said that. I even argued that the whole idea of calling you go girl boss is to adhere to acknowledging a woman's accomplishment. I'm not saying that either or don't exist, but I am saying, logically speaking, if men are the ones in power, they are the ones who are making the laws. They are the ones who are making everything that we know today in society possible.
And data can literally show you that women are the ones voting for said laws. Like, data can literally show you that.
So now you believe in a nuanced approach. Now you believe that it's not just men's fault, it's women's fault too.
Yeah, like you believe in nuance then, but what about the nuance when it comes to the laws?
I explained the nuance with it. The same way where I explained the nuance of chivalry, and when we were asked what is the equivalent, and you guys wanted to say kindness, being a lady is also being kind. So I'm saying the same way that when Fatty asked that question and people were saying, RougeC, you don't want women to change. RougeC never said that. I said women need to become ladies again. So in the same breath, if I am saying that because majority of our leaders are men and not women, yes, the brunt of that goes to the men. Now, when we have more women leaders, if you have a woman boss and that company fails, yes, she is to blame at that because she is the leader of that.
Well, if women are voting the most, then the blame falls on women for not voting more women leaders into fucking office. Because women are voting these policies in the law. So those same group of women should hold the fucking blame, because why did you vote women leaders into these leadership positions? You just defeated
company. If the household fails and if she's the leader of the household, then yes, she is to blame for that.
So if Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris or Ocasio-Cortez become the president of the United States, now you can start blaming women.
No, you can blame that woman or you can blame those women. Yeah. If they fail at the job. Hold on.
You just segregated yourself, RougeC.
Hold on. Because
what?
So, okay. So let me say this. I don't like being redundant or saying things that I don't feel like I need to say, but I can break it down more if I need to.
Yeah,
so the same way that E.T. No, I'm just saying the way that E.T. was saying, if he wants to say that 10% of men that are in charge, I could say that. But at the end of the day, they're still men. So I'm going to say men. If you want me to name these men, they're still men. If Hillary Clinton or if Kamala Harris failed at the job, yes, you would blame Hillary Clinton. You would blame Kamala. If you want to blame the people who voted for her, you can also do that. But at the
but there are also women in that top 10%. So do you blame those women as well? It's not all exclusively men. There are women in Congress. There are women in power. So do they not exist, or is it still just all men because 90% of it is men, but you're just going to exclude the 10% of women?
You can do that, of course. No one is saying that you can't do that. But again, if every other time you guys want to look at the majority when it actually benefits your argument, then you also have to look at the majority when it does not benefit your argument.
Sure, but there's the thing, right? We always open the space for nuance because just because, for example, do you believe that if a woman is signing the divorce papers doesn't mean that she to blame? Maybe the man did something that actually made her sign those papers. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. And vice versa too.
So do you believe that just because men are passing those laws, right, they are signing and saying, I want RougeC to vote, I want RougeC to have a credit card, I want RougeC to vote? Do you think there's a massive impact from my brother, my sister, my mother, my daughter, the woman in my life, the woman in society? Do you think there's a massive pressure from that side of society, the woman that vote, as responsibility for me signing that bill?
Yes, there is an influence. The same way, Fatty, you have an influence when you have the ladies for ladies first. There's most definitely an influence. But at the end of the day, if this is something that you're curating and this is something you're creating, guess what you could do? If you wanted to drop me and Melanin the same way they wanted to drop SH, who has the final say so? So yes, me and Melanin can influence certain situations. No doubt about that. But at the end of the day, it is either your choice as a man to allow our influence to make any type of impact on you where you make that choice or to not.
Okay, so let me tell you why you checkmated yourself, right? So you said this. When you said, and again, this is not my debate. The debate is over. This is we exchanging points, okay?
Tell me.
This is how checkmated yourself. When I ask you if Hillary Clinton or Kamala become president, do we blame woman? You said no, we blame her. That's ET point. The men in power that pass these bills are 0.00001% of the most powerful men in the planet. They're clearly the minority of men. Like 99.99999% of men, they don't have this power. So if you don't extrapolate the blame on woman just because Theresa May or Angela Merkel or Kamala Harris are president because they don't represent all women, you can pick the very, very small percentage of 0.1% of men that are passing these laws when 99.99% of men weren't involved in this situation at all. They just followed the thingy like everybody else. For a fact, and this is kind of why history is important, in most countries in Europe and in the United States in the West, most men couldn't vote either. When men started voting, women literally got the vote 10 years later. And it was just because taxing and property and all these things, the rules were not fair for men too. So women literally got the right to vote, the right to own things very shortly after men could able kind of to do it. So don't you think that's kind of a contradiction for you to isolate the blame if there's a woman in power, but when there's men in power, which is a very small percentage, you extrapolate this to the average population that never had the power to actually make those rules?
Not at all, because again, I just didn't want to do the redundancy. Will I give more nuance? Yes. I'm sorry if more nuance comes because of the bias of being root for the home team, right? But I thought it would be more redundant to just keep saying those men. The same way that I said it's redundant to say man boss. It's redundant. But no, yes, you blame the specific leader at that situation and those that decided to follow the protocol of the leader. Those are usually the people that get blamed.
You're not answering
the
question.
Yes, you can even say white women got the right to vote, black men got the right to vote at around the same time, and black men got it first, and then white women were like, hell no. So that's when they started rallying up black women. So the fact that we know history has these nuances, I think a lot of times when we're just having these conversations, and this is my fault as well for assuming, but I think a lot of people do this, we assume that another person knows what we're saying. So I will apologize for that. But as overall, no, I don't think I checkmated myself by just not saying those men.
You most definitely checkmated yourself. You keep saying these are men's laws, but mostly women are voting these laws into power. You keep saying that men are benefiting because they're running the government, when just like he said, less than 1% of men make laws. The vast majority of men do not benefit from said laws. So you will blame all men for the decisions of less than 1% of men. And when faced with the same question on the opposite end, if there were females in power and they made a law and things went to shit, would you blame all women? Well, no, you would just blame that woman. Well, why can't you just blame those men?
It's totally fine. This is my final question, and then close it out if nobody says message or nobody pulls up, right? In 2026, RougeC, knowing the state of man and woman, who leads relationships? If you saw an average couple in the street and you had to know who has their way in majority on that relationship, who picks the house, who picks the car, how it's decorated, where the kids go to school, who has sex, who doesn't have sex, what do we eat, where do we go, where do we spend our money, where do we go on vacation? If you had to actually tell us who runs relationships in 2026, would you say on average there's the average man or the average woman?
Average woman.
You think the average woman is in charge of relationships in 2026?
Yes. Based off what you just described, yes. If you're saying who picked the house, who picks where the kids go, yes.
Checkmate.
So that kind of defeats your point.
Checkmate. She lost.
Because if they are the leaders, it's their fault.
But again, I'm just going based off your definition. I wouldn't call that leadership. I would call that influence.
So you think that if you decide most overall decisions in our livelihood, especially how long is our marriage going to last? Because women are filing the most. Who gets sex? Because women are the dictators of sex. Who gets married? Because respectfully, women are the engagement queens. It's not men. Women are actually rejecting men from me. You think that they are not the de facto leaders when they control the consumer spending, when they control where the kids go to school, when they control, like they literally have our credit cards. How can a woman have all this power and not be controlling relationships?
Because you gave your power over. You gave her your credit card. You gave her that choice. If you say no, woman, me and these
sound like victim blaming to me.
That's not victim blaming at all. It's just what it is. If you are saying I gave her the credit card, is that not the fact?
Sure, that's perfect, right? So RougeC, I buy a car. I give it to you. You drive the car against a wall. You decided.
I know Fatty about to do his best to get through with it, but Rogue, I hope you rewatch your debates. Even though I disagree with your talking points and your stance, there is a much better way to defend your stance than how you have been representing yourself. There is a much better way to debate your stance than how you have.
To do it, you drunk, whatever. Who is responsibility for crashing the car? Me, that bought the car and gave it to you, or you that drove the car drunk and smashed the car against the wall?
That one would be hers, because luckily we do have protocols like her having her own insurance. So yes, insurance is going to deal with her.
Sure. So if I give the power to you and you mishandle that power I gave you, is it your responsibility or my responsibility?
Usually, even if it's my responsibility, if I were to, God forbid, anyone gets in any car crashes, y'all be safe out there. If I were to get into a car crash, usually if I have a man, he's still going to bail me out. If I have my dad, anything like that, even though it's my fault, if you usually do have a man in your life, he is going to bail you out. Now, if you can agree or disagree, if you feel that's right or wrong, but no, most men still kind of take on the helm of the responsibility. I don't think that we can't disagree with that.
So if men are in charge and they fuck up, it's their fault because they are the leaders. If men default to women and they fuck up, men are the fault because they defer to the woman. So men are at fault when they're the leaders.
No matter what.
Hold on. No, I just said that. If RougeC crashes the car, it's RougeC's fault. It's Kate. It's my fault, right? But usually in most case scenarios, I have a father, I have a man. That man.
Usually in most case scenarios, you have a bailout. Usually in most case scenarios, you have a bailout. Usually in most case scenarios, you do not have to face accountability. Usually in most case scenarios, you do not have to go through with the consequences of your actions. Usually in most scenarios, it's never your fault. Checkmate, baby.
Is still going to usually bail me out of the situation because I am his woman, even though it's not his fault. So that's why I'm saying I think you guys are ignoring the nuances of that. Men do take on the responsibility even when it's not y'all's fault. And that's, I don't know. If you feel like that's unfair, then I would say stop doing it. If you
No,
like-
but you just said it was the man's fault because he gave her the credit card, but now you're switching it up and saying something completely different.
I never said it was at fault. We were saying if the woman chooses the house or if the woman buys XYZ because you gave her the credit card, that's why it happened. I just explained why it happened. You are still technically the leader because you're the one giving the money. You're the one giving the power and the ownership of that choice.
Sure.
That's the whole point.
But that will do a infinity pool because you gave me power too. You let me lead you. You gave me your coochie. You let me live with you. You let me procreate with you. Yes. You let me decide. Like so it's going. You are going to go in a loop because I have to concede to you and you have to concede to me, regardless of who has power or not. But at the end of the day, if I decided something and I made a mistake, is my responsibility. If you decide something and you made a mistake, is your responsibility. So to sum it up, if we believe that most women lead relationships in 2026 and the state of relationships is probably the worst that ever been, is the responsibility on the woman that are leading the majority of relationships or on the men that are following this woman?
Again, because y'all aren't going to like my nuance, so I'm just going to let you have it, Patty, because I just explained
I appreciate. Don't answer. Plead the 50 exactly. Friend, this is not a part of the debate.
It's not. That's why I'm just like, I'm going to let y'all rock with it.
I think RougeC did a tremendous job. I think Melanin did a tremendous job. And I just don't whoop Melanin ass today because I kind of agree with most of the statements she made. Even though Mel knows there's some things that she says I disagree the most. Okay, so friends, I appreciate y'all. RougeC, tremendous job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Melanin, thank you very much. Miss Riti, nice to meet you, my man. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
And thank you for your internet to become benevolent finally.
You be safe out there. Definitely be safe out there.
I appreciate you. We're going
I've been out here for a minute.
Tomorrow, okay? RougeC and Melanin are going to be on the infamous Ladies First. I have a very special show tomorrow based on some things that was said over here. Okay, so friends.
All right, I'm gonna cut it right there. You heard me? You dig? In my opinion, it was a okay debate. It could have been a whole lot better had Rogue actually stayed on topic and stopped shifting the goalposts. There was 3 topics presented, and within those 3 topics, she made the conversation mutate in her favor, but not really, because she still ended up checkmating herself. And then, even though Fatty said this wasn't part of the debate, he kind of came in and, you know, hit her with the fatality before closing the show out. You know what I'm saying? So, real talk, I really do hope RougeC watch her debates, this one with Mel and the one with Tommy, because, like I said, there's a better way to actually defend your argument. Like, your argument isn't undefendable. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with it, but you can make a good defense for it. You just weren't doing that. So I think that's what RougeC needs to focus on, making a proper logical defense for her actual argument and staying on point. There's most definitely room for Melanin to grow as well. I think Melanin just mostly goes off of what she knows to be true, and when people like RougeC starts to get historical, analytical, and what have you, she'll quickly concede because she doesn't have the data on hand. I think if Melanin prepared for her debates with data, stats, and facts and sources, she would landslide wipe these girls out here in the street, though. Like, it'll be no competition. Like, that'll be my only critique for Melanin, that she needs to prepare for her debates with facts, data, and statistics. That'll guarantee her a landslide. But as far as Rogue has to learn to stay on topic. Whenever Rogue starts to lose in the debate, she starts to go shift. And and that becomes hard to keep up with. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't look good for her, because you can't even make a proper filibuster, because like I said, she ended up checkmating herself. She got lost in her own forest that she created. You dig? So, you know, we gonna do it like that. You dig? I'm gonna pump another one out. Nigga be working, so I be tired, man. But I'm gonna fuck with y'all, bro. On the ALG, y'all stay with the boy.